Good morning, students. I welcome you in yet another e-lecture. So, after discussing the first four parts of our current story, How Much Land Does a Man Need by Leo Tolstoy, you can get an idea about the human tendency, human behavioral changes when one starts becoming more and more progressive in life. Even when we are still in the middle of the story, we can easily make out that the soaring greed and temptation of Paham, who was once a satisfied person, will sooner or later lead towards his ultimate destruction. And one must not forget the challenge accepted by Devil. So, in the end of part 4, we have already seen a dealer informs Paham about a new land, the land of the Bashkirs. Let's see what happens next. So, in part fifth, this time he is not taking his wife and the family along. He is going along with his attendant just to inquire what the situation is and to crack a deal with Bashkirs. As was advised by the dealer, he purchases some presents. In those presents, he buys a case of tea, some wine, and other presents. He travels more than 300 miles, and on the seventh day, he reaches the place of Bashkirs where they had pitched their tents. Okay, the people lived on the steppes. Now, steppes is the name of a grassland. As we have the other grasslands, prairie grassland, in the same manner, this is steppes. By a river in felt covered tents. Felt is a warm material which helps people to stay warm. Okay. Now, this description is important from the point of view that what type of culture the Bashkirs had, what type of persons they were. If you remember, when we were discussing communication, non-verbal communication, I told you about the technical term chronomics. And I, at that point of time, also gave you this example. I'm again going back to chronomics, where I told you that chronomics refers to the study of cultural understandings of time. And I told you that there are two types of people, as has been categorized by Hall, monochromic and polychromic. Monochromic stands for M time culture and polychromic for P time culture. Now, M time culture people are the people who consider time as inflexible and people arrange their life, organize their lives according to time, as we people are doing. But P time culture people are those people who consider time as fluid and focus more on leisure and socializing. So we can easily make out that the details which we are going to discuss over here, we are going to read over here, we can make out that these people are P time cultured people. Okay, they neither tilled the ground nor ate bread. Their cattle and horses grazed in herds on the steppe. The colts were tethered behind the tents, and the mares were driven to them twice a day. The mares were milked. I suppose you all know what colts are, mares are. I'm taking the presumption you know everything. Okay, consult dictionary if in case you do not know. Okay, the mares were milled, and from the milk kumis was made. It was the women who prepared kumis. Now, kumis is a type of drink, a drink peculiar to these people's, you can say, culture. So, this work also is done by women. Males are not doing any work. They also made cheese. As far as men were concerned, drinking kumis and tea, eating mutton, and playing on their pipes was all they cared about. They were all stout and merry. Now, merry means happy, and stout is short and fat. Okay, now why they are short and fat? I suppose we all can make out because there is no physical activity over here, and they are just spending their time and leisure. And all summer long, they never thought of doing any work. They were quite ignorant. Now, this is an adjective over here, quite ignorant. This is not a quality, but this is not something negative also over here, because Pahim over here has more of knowledge in comparison to these people, but we can see that he is using his knowledge for his own selfish motives. Okay, and as these people are ignorant, you'll yourself analyze that they are more helpful. Okay, they're ignorant and knew no Russian, but were good natured enough. This is again a characteristic. They were good natured. Now, as they did not know Russian, because the story is of Russia, Paham was a Russian, he was familiar with the Russian language. That is why definitely we would require an interpreter, which we have over here. Okay, so an interpreter helps Pahim to have a conversation with the Bashkirs. The Bashkirs seemed very glad to see a new person because they are good people. They do not consider a new person to be a problematic situation. So Paham took presents out of his cart and distributed among the Bashkirs and divided amongst them the tea. The Bashkirs were delighted. Now, as they are ignorant people, innocent people, they become happy on very means just with normal gifts. They are happy, they are delighted. Uh, the Bashkirs say that okay, if you have given us gifts, it is now our duty to ask you what do you want in return. He says, Paham says, what pleases me best here is your land. He is straightforward. He's saying, what pleases me best is your land. They wish me to tell you in return for your presents, they will gladly. Now, this is what the interpreter is saying. The interpreter is saying that all the Bashkirs are happy enough and they are saying that in return of your gifts, they would happily give you as much of land as you need. You have only to point it out with your hands and it is yours. Now, for Pahil, this was like a dream. Because how is it possible that I can take as much of land as I can wish for? Okay. But then also they have a bit of dispute. The Bashkirs have a bit of dispute because they are discussing about something. Paham does not know what they are discussing because it is in a different language. But somehow he comes to know from the interpreter that they are talking about the chief, that in absence of their chief, they cannot take this decision. So they wait for the chief. Now, in the next part, we are introduced by a man in a large fox fur cap. Okay, fox, fur, fox fur cap, who is the chief. Now, chief is the supreme authority. So, is it possible that Paham did not plan specific gifts for the chief? It was not possible. Paham immediately fetched the best dressing gown and 5 pounds of tea and offered these to the chief. The chief was also happy. Chief says, well, let it be so. Choose whatever piece of land you like. We have plenty of it. Now you can easily make out that for Paham, it is that I do not have enough land. And for Bashkirs, they say that we have plenty of it, take as much as you want. Now, again, Paham is thinking. Now, you can easily make out in these two paragraphs that in this paragraph, he is thinking. And over here, he is molding his thoughts in sugar coated words. Okay, his thought is blunt. He is saying, how can I take as much as I like? I must get a deed to make it secure, or else they may say it is yours and afterwards may take it away again. This means today they can promise me that, okay, take as much land as you want, but later on they can deny it. So I need to at least sign proper deeds, terms and conditions. So now sugar coated words. He's saying, thank you for your kind words, he said aloud. You have much land, and I only want a little. Now, this is ironical. I want a little. But I should like to be sure which bit is mine. Could it not be measured and made over to me? Life and death are in God's hands. You good people give it to me, but your children might wish to take it away in the future. So this is again interesting. He is saying that you please sign the deeds because today you might give it to me, but tomorrow your children might again take it away from me, saying that it belongs to us. The chief is again an innocent, ignorant person, a good person. He says, you are quite right. We will make it over to you. So they arrange for a scribe. A scribe is a person who is keeping all the records. Okay, and they say that okay, we'll arrange this thing. Paham says, you can read this over here, that I heard that a dealer had been here. Now he is mentioning about the dealer because if you remember, the dealer said that I had a deed signed with Bashkirs and that much land is mine. So they say that okay, that is not a problem. Deed can also be signed. We have a scribe and we'll manage. Now, from here, the most interesting portion of the story starts. The actual story starts. That how much temptation and greed can lead you towards your own ruin and your own destruction. Okay. Paham asks, okay, what will be the price? Our price is always the same. This is important. 1000 rubles a day. Paham did not understand that how can you measure land with day a day? What is this measure? How many acres would that be? We do not know how to reckon it out. Means we do not know how to measure it out, said the chief. That is why we sell it by day. As much as you can go round on your feet in a day is yours. And the price is 1000 rubles a day. This deal is interesting. Now, Paham is surprised. Paham, he thinks that in a day you can take round of a large tract of land. Means you can easily walk through a lot of land. So all that would be mine. The chief laughed. It will be yours, said he. But there is one condition. If you don't return on the same day to the spot whence you started, your money is lost. Now, this is the twist. This is the term, most important term in um, the deal. Okay. So now they have planning how to manage the whole thing. So he asks a question that, okay, how am I supposed to mark? How am I supposed to calculate my land? And this you can just give a reading. This is the way how you're supposed to mark. It is, we shall go to any spot you like and stay there. You must start from the spot and make your round, taking a spade with you. I think you know what a spade is. Wherever you think necessary, make a mark. Now, how you're supposed to make a mark? At every turning, dig a hole and pile up the turf. Digging, dig a hole and pile up the turf. Now, what is a turf? This is a turf. Okay, when you dig, the grass comes out and you have to make a pile of it. Okay, then afterwards we'll go around with a plow from hole to hole. You may make as large a circuit is like a circle or rectangle, whatever shape you want, as you please, but before the sun sets you must return to the place you started from. All the land you cover will be yours. This means the deal is from sunrise to sunset. Okay, so we can relate these two timings with dawn and dusk. Dawn is early morning, and dusk is when the sun is about to set. So this is almost evening, and to have a good sleep, they give Paham a feather bed to sleep on, and the Bashkirs dispersed for the night, promising to assemble the next morning at daybreak and ride out before sunrise to the appointed spot. Now, part 7 is the most important part. Most important part, because again and again I have been telling you about a dream, a dream which is important in Paham's story. Okay, now the dream is over here. Paham lay on the feather bed but could not sleep. He kept thinking about the land. I think you people can easily make this out that when you are extremely excited it is already on the extreme. So when you're excited about something, it is difficult to sleep because you are very much into the planning. Okay, the same was happening with Paham. He was laying on the feather bed. This means he had the comfort also, but he was not able to sleep because he was planning about the land. Now, what planning was going on in his mind? He was thinking that I can easily walk 35 miles in a day. Now the days are also getting long. So in one circuit, 35 miles would be a lot of land. And if I get a lot of land, I'll buy two ox teams, hire two more laborers, and blah blah blah. So they are actually, he is actually planning for the thing which he has not yet accomplished. Now, this is the most important portion. Paham lay awake all night. This means Paham was not able to sleep the whole night and dozed off only just before dawn. Dawn is early sunrise, and dozed off is like he just felt asleep. So he jhapki ana and dozed off only just before dawn. Hardly were his eyes closed when he had a dream. He thought he was lying in the same tent and heard somebody chuckling outside. Chuckling outside means someone was laughing loudly outside. He wondered who it could be. So he was in a dream, and in the dream also, he was lying, he was sleeping in the same tent. And in the dream, he woke up, he came out because he heard a strange laughing sound. He went outside just to check who that person is. He wondered who it could be and rose and went out, and he saw the Bashkir chief sitting in front of the tent, holding his sides and rolling about with laughter. So in the dream, when he came out of his tent, he saw the Bashkir chief folding his hands and laughing out loud. So he was confused that why the Bashkir chief is laughing. When Pahim went near to him, going nearer to the chief, Pahim asked, "What are you laughing at?" But he saw that it was no longer the chief, but the dealer who had recently stopped at his house and had told him about the land. So when the Paham came out and saw the Bashkir chief laughing, he was anxious. He was curious to know that why Bashkir chief is laughing. He asked that, "What are you laughing at?" And the Bashkir chief did not reply. Moreover, his face transformed to another person. And that other person was the dealer. If you remember the dealer from the last to last part, that is fourth part, the person who informed about the Bashkir's land. Okay. So just as Paham was going to ask, "Have you been here long?" This means, "Did you come here early?" He saw that it was now no longer the dealer, but the peasant who had come up from the Volga long ago to Paham's old home. Now you can get an idea what is happening. Now it was no longer the dealer. The dealer's face also changed to the face of the peasant who paid a visit to Pahan's house long ago and who informed about the land near the Volga, which was his present abode. Then he saw that it was now no longer the peasant either, but the devil himself, with hoofs and horns, sitting there and chuckling. So actually, it was now no longer the peasant, he was the devil himself with hoofs and horns. You can all make out the face, you can imagine the face of a devil. And the devil was actually sitting in front of him and he was laughing, and before him was laying a man barefoot, prostrate on the ground. So, before in front of the devil there lay a man without any footwears and without any activity in the body. Prostrate is lifeless. So with only trousers and a shirt on. And Paham dreamt that he looked more. So Paham looked more attentively to see what sort of a man it was that was lying there. When he focused, now the actuality is that in actually he is sleeping, and in his sleep he is dreaming. So you can easily relate it to your own self also, that when in a dream you try to focus, it becomes difficult. You can see but the image is not that very clear. So he is trying to focus on the man, and he saw that the man was dead, and that the man was himself. He saw his own death in the dream. He awoke horror struck. So he was shocked and he awoke. Now, as we know about a lot of superstitions, we can easily relate it to one that the morning dreams are usually true. But as Pahim is too much excited to have to grab the new land, it is very difficult for him to pay attention on the dream. Might be this dream is actually the last warning to him, but nothing can be done. Okay, so when he awakes, he again starts with the planning of starting the deal. So he simply asks all the Bashkirs to rise. He is saying that if we are to go, let us go. It is high time, said he. Okay, so he is very much keen to start the deal. So over here, we are going to stop, and thank you so much. The next two parts are going to be covered in the last